guys, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Andre, and today we're going to understand and solve the problem of this disgraceful error message that appears on the PS1. So, here's the error message. This error message is now appearing on my PS1, which I'm using to capture the image. I'll show it to you in real time. Look, this is the console I'm using to capture the image at the moment, and it's the one that's giving the error. This is the disk I burned, so it's the one that's giving me the problem. Now, if I burn a new disk, will it work? And the answer is no. There's no point in me trying to burn new media, or even downloading a new image and burning it to CD. The same error will probably persist because the problem isn't the disk. And to show that the problem isn't the disk, here's what I'm going to do. Look, I'm going to put it in the computer's CD player, and we're going to test it in two different emulators. I have this emulator here. It's an older emulator. It's basically the emulator that simulates the same video game I have here. So we're going to test the disk in it. I have the option of inserting an image, which would be downloading an image from the internet. But what we want is the disk. So we go to Insert, CD Drive. Let's wait for it to load the game and see what happens. And the same error message. So it seems that the CD is bad, right? Because we tested it in the video game, and it didn't work. We tested it on the emulator, and it didn't work. But we still have another emulator here. I have duckstation, which is the best PS1 emulator there is. It's the most modern. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. Start the disk. So I'm also going to start the game from the CD. I put in the CD drive, and we'll see what happens now. It's starting the game. It works normally. In other words, the problem isn't the CD because the CD works on this emulator, but it doesn't work on the PS1. It doesn't work on the old emulator, and I have the newest PS1 here, and that same CD also works on this PS1, so the problem isn't the CD. So what's the problem? Here's the thing. Back in the days of the PS1, games started to be pirated a lot. So the developers started putting some kind of recognition system inside the games, which checked whether the console had been modified or not. And every time a game found a console that had been modified, it would display this error message, which said, "Software closed. The console may have been modified. Call." Then, a number would appear. This was in an attempt to prevent piracy, but after a while, these modifications to the consoles became more efficient, and this type of check no longer worked. So if you have a console with an unlocking chip after that, all the games will work normally. Now, if it's earlier, the games that the developers put this type of verification in, they'll display this error message. The consoles of this model here, which is the oldest, are the most likely to get this error message, as they are the oldest. Now, this type of model here, which is the newest, I've never seen this error message happen. In fact, what happens is that, normally, the games I record that give problems on this one, they work normally. Now the question is, can this problem be solved? And the answer is yes, you can. It just has to be done before burning media. If the CD is already burned, there's no way around it. It will have this problem forever. Original games also have this problem. If you take an original game and put it into an older console that gives this error screen, it will continue to give the error screen. This is because this error is not related to whether the media is original or fake, but whether the console has been modified or not. So if you're still going to burn the media, you can fix this error as follows. The first thing you have to do is go to this website. I'll put the link to this site in the description. Then you'll have to download a file, and it will be one file per game. So you'll have to look for the file that's related to your game. So in my case, the disc I was trying to put into the video game was the first CD of The Legend of Dragoon. So that's the one I'm going to try to fix. So I'll have to come here to the letter L for Legend of Dragoon and look for the name of the game. So there's Legend of Mana, Legend of Lagai, Legend of Dragoon. Then I'll click on that little blue square next to the name of the game I want to correct. And then this page will open where I'll have the download link for that file. So look, I'm going to unzip it. Now this zip file I can delete now. I won't need it anymore. And inside this folder I'll have some files. The one I really want is the one with the PPF extension. That's the one we're going to use. The others don't matter much, but you don't have to worry about them because when we open them in the program, the others won't even show up. Only the one we really need to use will appear. Also, we need the image of the game, obviously. So here in this games folder, I have disc 1 of The Legend of Dragon, games with more than one disc. You'll have to do this for all the CDs. So if you have 2, 3, 4 discs, you'll have to do this for all the discs, because all the discs will have the same problem. I made a copy of the image of disc 1 because I don't want to change the image and only have the image it changed. I want to have the original image as it was before. So I'm going to leave the original image here and just change the copy. My file here is a bin file. If you have ISO or bin, it's the same process. The difference is that in the bin, you have this Q file here, which is normally what we use to run games. But the game itself, it's here in the bin file. So that's where we're going to install the patch. And we also need this program here. I'll also put the link to download this program in the description. So I'm going to open it up in full screen so it's easier to see. So we're going to open this program, and here we have a space to put the ISO and the patch. Here on the ISO, we have to put our game, so I'm going to open the folder where the game is, which is the games folder. Here's The Legend of Dragoon. I'm going to take this one, a copy, which is the one we're going to use. And here, no Q file appears, only the bin, which is what we'll need to use to record the patch. So we're going to put it here, just click on open, and then on the second one, we go to that file we downloaded from the website. So this is the folder where the file is, and those other files didn't appear either. Only the one I mentioned, which was the PPF extension, appeared. So we'll click on it, and we'll also click on open. If you've put the 2 files in correctly, the game information will appear in this box. Then just click apply. Then this message will appear saying that the patch has been successfully installed. Give it an OK, close it, and now you just have to burn the CD with the file that was changed. It burns very quickly, but that's normal, right? It's because the patch is really small. So nothing went wrong, okay? That's it. Now just record it in exactly the same way as you would a normal image. One tip I'd like to give you, so you don't waste CDs for nothing, is that you can test the game image in the old emulator before burning the CD to see if it's going to show this error or not. Because just imagine, you get a CD of that black media that came from Japan, which was expensive to buy in a pack of 100, which took a long time to arrive. Then you burn it on an old IDE burner with a speed of 2x, 4x, and you make that spectacular CD, which is almost the same quality as an original. And then you put it in the video game and it shows this error screen. So to avoid wasting discs for nothing, here's what you do. Take the image of your game and test it here, just like I did in the emulator, in the old emulator, which is the one that will show this kind of error if the CD fails. So here, look, instead of clicking to open the disk in the drive, I click to open the image on the computer. So here I have the image of The Legend of Dragoon. I put it into open, and then it will give the error. In other words, I would already know that it would give the error if I burned the CD and put it in the video game, because I know that my video game is old and has already had this problem, just like this old emulator has. This doesn't happen with all games. Some games do, some don't. There are more games where it doesn't happen than when it does. But then, if you rely on luck, you'll end up wasting the CD. So it's best to check the emulator first, and then, if the game runs, you can burn it. If not, save the patch in the image and then burn it. Before we go any further, remember to subscribe to the channel. We have one video a week, always with a pop culture theme. So, subscribe, take a look at the other videos we already have here. And if you don't like it, just remove it later. It doesn't cost anything. So, guys, let's keep going. I've recorded another disc here, only now with that image, with the patch. So I'm going to put it here on the original console so you can see how it looks. I'm also going to show it to you in real time. Look, here's the CD. I'm going to put it here in the video game. So, let's see how it looks with the patch. Look, that error image isn't showing up anymore. It's here for us to press X or circle to choose between these two options. I'm going to press the circle to choose NTSC, and then we're going to enter this introduction screen. This screen wasn't in the game, okay? This is from the patch. This screen will appear on every disk you install the patch on. All we have to do is press X to skip this introduction, and then we'll enter the game normally, as if the video game hadn't had this error screen problem. Before we finish, there's one more tip I want to pass on to you, which doesn't have much to do with the subject of this video. But I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I've already used this equipment in this video. It's here in my hand, and I'm not going to record a video just to talk about it. So look, what I used to capture this PlayStation 1 was this little card here. This is a capture card that costs very little. I remember that a few years ago, the capture cards they had weren't of such good quality and were extremely expensive. Now for very little, you can capture full HD, PlayStation 4 and Xbox images. All you have to do is put the HDMI cable from your video game in here and put the USB cable in your computer, and you can capture the image from your video game straight into the OBS as if it were the image from a camera, for example. I know that older consoles don't have HDMI, but you can use an adapter similar to this one. You fit the AV cables from the old video games here and put an HDMI cable here. This is what I used. Then you put the HDMI on the capture card and put it here on the computer. So, very practical. I'll put where you can buy these two pieces of equipment here in the description, in case you want to use them, because I really found them useful. So, guys, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching this far. That's it for today, we're finishing up. So, that's it. See you, and bye.